My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Every single week, we break down full fight cards. We give you our picks, our bets, and our fantasy plays. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our content. Next up, at UFC Vegas 47, we have another fighter making his official UFC debut. We have Jailton Almeida versus Danilo Marques. Jailton Almeida, 14-2 overall. He is 5-0, riding a 9-fight stoppage streak. Danilo Marques, 11-3 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5, and he's coming off of that loss to Kennedy and Chukwu, which was a pretty frustrating loss, honestly. And Danilo Marques is a solid grappler. He's got lots of takedowns, plenty of control. He does have technical boxing, but there isn't much power in his strikes, and his path to victory is always the grappling. If you watch that loss to Kennedy and Chukwu, he was okay in the striking exchanges early. He absolutely dominated the grappling. He literally backpacked Kennedy and Chukwu for a good amount of time. And he was riding himself. He was absolutely going to get a decision win. And then he got a little too comfortable with the striking late in the third round and then crack. And then that was the end of that. So unfortunately for Danilo, he just didn't play it safe the entire fight. Took some chances and it did not pay off. Jailton Almeida is the real deal. He's a great prospect. He has powerful hands. He actually considers himself, if you watch his interview before his Contender Series fight, he considers himself a striker. But the reality is, anybody that watches his tape and breaks down his fights, he's a grappler. He's absolutely a grappler, but he just loves striking so much. He considers himself a striker. He wants to be a striker. All of his wins are by stoppage, and that's because he is like a dog with a bone. He will not stop. He comes in hot. He relentlessly works for takedowns. And once he's on the ground, he will chase submissions. He'll hit you in the transitions if you start squirming, and he will try to snatch something up. The problem is he can get a little too excited, a little overzealous. He can chase submissions when they're not there. And all of a sudden he'll get swept. He'll give up a dominant position, end up on his back. And, now he's on the wrong side of a grappling exchange that he was in complete control of. So he's the definition of submission over position. And, the UFC is giving Jailton Almeida Danilo Marques because they think he's going to blow through Danilo. They think he's going to, put on a show, and they need some fresh blood in the light heavyweight division. I think most of that is true. I think he could absolutely do that. The problem here, I don't think, first of all, minus 400 is obscene. That's obscene. It's his official UFC debut. Danilo Marques has proven to be a tough, crafty guy at this point. I think Jailton Almeida wins this fight, but with that being said, I would be very, very careful. I do not think Jailton Almeida is a parlay piece because Danilo Marques has very solid grappling. Jailton Almeida could take some chances, work for, one of those submissions in a scramble, miss it, and all of a sudden he's on his back and Danilo's good enough to catch him, do something with it, or even just ride out the rest of that round and win that round. So Jailton Almeida is the pick, but I may do a plus 3.5 bet on Danilo Marques, but I have already placed an over 1.5 round bet. I got that at minus 110. I do not see an early stoppage here. I think Danilo Marques covers, stays controlled, doesn't get clipped, works his takedowns, and survives a round and a half. I already placed that bet. Jakey boy, the expressions, what do you think?
I just want you to explain that, the dog with the bone. Can you explain that again? What you just kind of slipped that in there, and I was like, wait, what did you say?
You've never heard that expression before? Like a dog with a bone? With a bone?
Is that like
You've never heard that expression? It's an expression.
A dog with bone is like a content dog, not like
No, that's not
dog.
what the expression. What country did you Midwest? I don't know. So if you guys are in the chat and you're from the Midwest, and I'm sorry for all the Midwest comments.
You said it like he's like aggressive, like a dog with a bone. A dog with a bone.
That's what it means. Like they will relentlessly hunt for that bone, find that bone, chew on that.
So he's a dog looking for a bone.
No, they never give up. This is the dumbest. Anybody in the live chat, let Jacob know what a dog with a bone, what that expression means. It's a legitimate.
When I give my dog a bone, they just lay there and they're hanging out. If you're looking for the bone,
can you do me a
hungry
favor?
for it, so.
Can you just give us your pick for Christ's sake?
Yeah, so I actually want to mention one thing because Danilo was in like a grappling, one of those underground grappling tournaments that Chael Sonnen was announcing, and Chael Sonnen said that this dude has over 110 boxing matches on his record, 110, and also that he spent 9 years as a brown belt. They wouldn't give him his black belt for some reason. 9 years as a brown belt. I don't know if that's normal, whatever. Chael just does. And Chael says some things that you have no idea if he's being honest or not. So that's just what he said. But, I see this fight going the same way. I think Almeida should kind of dominate the fight. You mentioned that he thinks he's a striker. I saw a direct quote for him saying that he is similar to Khabib. He wants to get people on the ground and pound them. So he's a little hypocritical in that situation. But I agree. He's a grappler. He gets people to the ground and he punches them while he's on the ground. The issue in this fight is I think Danilo has the experience. He has 110 boxing matches. I think he needs to win the scrambles, but I think he needs to take his time. I think he just needs to take his time. Get that high guard, defend the takedowns, win the scrambles early when you can, get back to your feet, because Almeida, all those muscles, look at the guy. The guy's built, he's jacked. He's seen the third round once in his career, and he lost that fight. It was a decision loss. He went to the third round, he lost. The longer this fight drags on, I agree. You can find Almeida in some peculiar... Did I nail that? Peculiar?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, dog with a bone. You can't even say peculiar.
Peculiar situations with Danilo. So I agree these odds are a little bit wide. Danilo could find himself in some trouble early on the ground, but the longer this fight goes, it's going to favor Danilo. So my pick's going to be Almeida. He should win, but I agree. Danilo is a little bit live in this.
And here is what a dog with a bone means for anybody that somehow went their entire life not understanding that expression. Yeah, so I think I forgot to show the stats here. I think we're aligned. I think Almeida wins. But Danilo Marques is very, very live in this fight. I think the odds are absolutely insane, ridiculous. I'm not confident enough to bet on Danilo right now, but honestly, I'd be stupid not to just throw a quarter of a unit on it, right? With that kind of plus money. But, I like Danilo to survive, so I was comfortable placing the over 1.5 round bet. Maybe I'll do a plus 3.5 bet. If you don't know what that is, you buy a single round on the judges' scorecard. So all I would need is Danilo Marques to actually win a round in the fight. Then I bought a round on the scorecards with the bookie, and then I'll get paid. So I may do that. The problem is I think the bookies are onto it, and I don't think the odds are good enough for me to do that. But if you want that bet on this fight or any other, wewantpicks.com/bets. We have 5 partners. Bet Online is the partner that offers that safety net bet. If you do it, sign up, make a deposit, let me know. I'll send you $50. Let's go back to the fantasy stuff here. I don't like Almeida at $9,400. It's another UFC debut. It's a little too much it could potentially be too much too soon, or he can come out here like what's his name did 2 weeks ago, the Ecuadorian national champion, just blow Trevin Giles' brakes off. That could happen. I don't see that though. But are you going to spend the $9,400?
I'll tell you what, I just found the bet of the century. I live bet the Bengals to beat the Chiefs at plus 1,200. This bet, Danilo Marques, round 3 submission, plus 2,200. I think that's an interesting one to look at because I think Almeida could get tired if Danilo makes it there. He could lose a scramble. If he's ever going to get submitted, I think Danilo could do it in the third round. That's worth a flyer. A quarter unit, half unit flyer, plus $2,200. I'm going to play that. What was your question?
DraftKings, you're going to spend $9,400 on Almeida? No. Yeah, me neither. And he honestly will be probably pretty high owned because there's a lot of people see the record, see the stoppages, and be like, oh, wow. And then bang, grab him. Monkey Knife Fight. I think this is another more. I also, obviously, I like the over on rounds. So 30 punches or 30 strikes to 47, I think that could happen. I like the more with Monkey Knife Fight as well. Do you think it's an early stoppage here? You were making faces when I said I did the more.
Huh? No, I think I was like, I just got a drink. I was like doing this with my lips or something.
You were trying to figure out what a dog with the bone means. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Googling it. I got a YouTube video I'm listening to right now. They're explaining it. It's a 12-minute video. Okay. Yeah, I think it's the over as well. The reason why it's so low is because people think there's going to be an early stoppage with the high favorite. I agree. I think Danilo's tough. He's going to be a stay in there. So I think it's another more play.
And Danilo's smart. I mean, the knock on him in the past is that he's boring. because he's smart. He knows what he is and what he isn't. So, yeah, I'm not going as far as picking Danilo Marques to win, but I'm certainly not jumping on the Jailton Almeida hype train just yet.